very briefly. And now we have the keynote speaker of today, Andre Kudelski, the CEO of Kudelski AG and the president of Innosuisse. Please, Mr. Kudelski.
So, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it's really a great honor and pleasure to talk to you today. But I will maybe first have some thoughts to President Wilson that has put Switzerland and Geneva at the center of the map just following World War I. And so it shows that even in the early 20th century, there were some special relationship between the United States and Switzerland. Having said that, what I'm just interested to share with you are a few elements. First, when we talk about cybersecurity, cybersecurity needs to be taken into perspective with the digital world. We have the question of the rise of cybercrime, security landscape dynamics, threat detection and response, how I see things going forward, and finally, since I have also the role of President of the Swiss Innovation Agency, I cannot forget to take the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about innovation in Switzerland. Now, first Kudelski Group, we are active for the last 30 years in protecting digital content, especially for the media, but we have extended into two areas that are extremely important going forward. First one is cybersecurity. The second one is securing the Internet of Things. And that is really some of the most important topics going forward in our civilization. Now, to understand why cybersecurity and securing the Internet of Things is important, we need first to understand what is at stake in the digital world. So I would first start by a statement done by Bill Gates in 1997 at the Comdex by saying that, look, if GM would work in the same way as Microsoft, we would have a car that would cost nothing and be extremely fuel efficient. Now, the official response of General Motors was pretty interesting by saying that if Microsoft would build such a car, it will crash twice a day. You will need to buy a new car if the line on the road has been repainted, asking you, are you sure, before deploying the airbag? And most interesting, suddenly you need to lift the door handle, turn the key and grab and hold the radio antenna to restart the system. And that is really interesting, to use the start button to turn off the machine, but I must say that the Germans have been able to adopt that earlier than the other one, even on the BMW and other nice cars. Having said that, if we look at today's world, you just look at the Tesla Model 3 step. First, top speed 162 miles per hour, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.2 seconds, range 310 miles, so not too bad. You get 140 miles per gallon, so we are not at the 1,000, but not very, how to say, far from it. We have artificial intelligence-based autopilot using the DevOps development method. But, and that is interesting, and that has been directly taken from what GM has predicted, sometimes you need to do a hard reset. So basically, you have to press on the 4 button at the same time, holding on the brake and so on. So just to say that sometimes reality is even more fascinating than the fiction. Now, on the Tesla, you have what is visible and what is less visible. And fundamentally, if you take a Tesla car, it's a car. The network of Tesla is a transportation system. And fundamentally, each Tesla car has the capability to upload the information to what they call a mothership. In a way, they say, get experience in driving and to optimize the way you do self-driving. And so you use artificial intelligence in order to do self-driving. So just to say that we see here that a car is not anymore a car, it's a digital system that have an engine, that have some wheels, and that have some brakes. So it's a fundamental shift in the way things are done. And all that is possible because the technology behind all the computer science has completely evolved in an exponential way. And what you need to understand, it's not only the technology itself, but between the devices, the data, the more volume and quality, the concept of cloud, the concept of mobile, IoT, each one has grown in its own dimension, and if you combine these different dimensions together, then you get something that is extremely complex. Now, in the digital world, and here maybe in the US it's something that is a given, but at least on the European continent, some people still believe that digital is about computer with application like word processing and others. So fundamentally thinking that if you are able to use the word as an application, you are already digital. But that was the digital of the 20th century. So fundamentally, we have gone in a system like DevOps, where you have the possibility to measure in a quite real-time information, you adapt the way you should do things, and have a fundamental loop to improve the technology one time after the other. So an interesting element with that is that you have the possibility to create very personalized service for the mass. One of the big differences today, at least from experience, United States has been extremely good at doing things at large scale. So fundamentally to do things for the mass. Switzerland has been specialized as doing more niche things. So basically having very high quality for niche market. Now, with the technology like AI and overall digitalization, you may have a very personalized approach to the mass. And that is quite a revolutionization of the system, and that is something where, for example, Switzerland needs to take that into its own agenda. Now, if you have this digitalization that is allowing incredible new things, at the same time there is an appetite to hack that. And so that is bringing me to the rise of cybercrime. First element is that the revenue, because don't forget, cybercrime is not just for the beauty, there is money to be made. And so fundamentally, the revenue done by the cyber hackers is estimated at $1.5 trillion annually. The average number of security breach per organization in 2018 has peaked at 145, up 11% compared to previous year. And it's pretty important, the average cost of a cybercrime per organization in 2018 has grown to $13 million. And the industry that are the most exposed is first banking, utility and software, and there is no miracle. Banking and financial system is because there is some money to be stolen. So fundamentally, the appetite of the cyber criminal is first to make money. We have also some other elements, but we'll see that after. And if you look at the top threat trends, you have malware is pretty stable. You have web-based attacks that are growing. You have web application attacks that are stable. Phishing that is going up. And so you don't need a license to do such type of phishing. And denial of service that is also growing. And that are the official statistics worldwide. Basically in Switzerland we have come to a very similar pattern. So basically that is showing once more that in the cyberspace there is no boundaries. Now we'll look at who are behind the hacks. First, in terms of nation states, they do that for geopolitical reasons. So basically, you have some countries that are not so nice on the in the cyberspace. You have cyber criminals that do that just to make money. That's at least a clear intention that is well understood. Activists, it's for ideology. Terrorist group is ideology, but for another purpose that is violence. You have people that are looking for great, sensation, and they just do that for satisfaction. And you have insider threats, and that are basically people that are not very happy with the employers and all that. So that is showing that behind cyber attacks, you may have a real diversity of motivation, but all this motivation are resulting in one thing, that it's creating disruption. Now, what are the weapons that are used? You have first social engineering. But it's important to understand that the human factor is a very important factor in cyber attacks. You have email or web delivery, a way to have something that is delivering malware content, for example, that can have incredible consequences. You have also, and that is very common, configuration errors that are creating incredible weaknesses in your solution. You have user word and password compromise. That is a very typical element that can allow to hack a system. You have denial of service, and you have advanced exploitation, that especially when you have or backdoors that are known or backdoors by accident. Now, I'll just give you a few examples of attacks that we have discovered as a company operating in Switzerland. First one, we are talking here about the international organization located in Switzerland, where we have discovered within 2 hours, so we have been asked by this organization to have a look at what was happening, and we have within 2 hours discovered that it was one intruder, that was a state actor that was present for more than 400 days within the system, and that was a second state actor that was really at the brink to be really active there. So just to show that these elements are very dangerous, because most of the people even not notice that there is a hack happening. And that is, for Switzerland that has numbers of international organizations, that's something that is extremely concrete and dangerous. You have, not sure example, is a antivirus evasion. So a company that is headquartered and has a main office in Switzerland, that was done by a criminal organization, and the goal was to steal username and password. So here, fundamentally, you have a malware that has been propagated in more than 200 systems, and that has passed undetected by the McAfee antivirus system. So that is showing that even if you are just using conventional way to protect yourself, you have some risk. So you cannot just have a classical response to cyber attacks. You need to be a little bit smarter. And now, another case that is extremely interesting, because that's a way to steal power, computation power. So fundamentally, what we are telling, it's a criminal organization that has hijacked a computer system in a company to use computation power to create cyber currency. So fundamentally to currency mining. So fundamentally by stealing computation time, what you create is cyber money, and you sell this cyber money. So fundamentally you have no elements that have been stolen, but you have some creation of wealth without the consent of the company. So pretty interesting to see how smart can the hackers be. Now, one element that is pretty important and that is pretty frightening as an element. If you look, the average time to detect an intrusion has been average globally going from 99 days to 78 days in 2018. But at the same time, you see that in the US, there has been an important effort to reduce this time. In Europe, this time has gone up. You say, oh, people have done less. No, it's simply that the hackers have been working faster than the defense. And that is also showing that today, generally speaking, on the European continent, there is not enough, people don't realize how serious is an issue. And if you think that about 6 months is needed to find that there is an intrusion, imagine all the secrets that can be stolen in an organization. And that is showing that the situation even gets seriously. So if you look at Asia, it's worse, at least it was worse in 2017, but they are trying to do some effort going forward. And here, there is no miracle. If you look at how people are perceiving cyber threat, in North America is a number one, element on the agenda of the CEO if you compare Western Europe, is not in the top 3. So fundamentally saying that there is a lack of perception how serious is the question. Now, that is bringing me to how we address such type of risk. First element is the difference between cybersecurity versus security in the IoT. First element is that cybersecurity generally is about protecting classical IT systems against hackers. And the first element is a hack can result in theft of data, tampering with data, and or data destruction. But in most of the cases, the hack is limited to the virtual world rather than the real world, with some notable exception in finance. So basically, if you hack a banking system, you can steal some money. But one of the major challenges is that we need to protect systems that have not been designed to be secure. Fundamentally, first computers were not designed to be permanently connected. So basically, you have to secure things that were not designed at the beginning to be secure. And this means that cybersecurity is used to detect cyber attack and to protect IT systems in a perpetual race against hackers. And fundamentally, more you have to steal, more the hacker will be active. Now, the chance with IoT is that the secure IoT solution is about designing and implementing solutions to secure a system, including a cloud infrastructure and secure device, and we have the possibility here to be a little bit ahead of what is happening. But on the other side, a hack of an IoT system can not only result in data theft and so on, but most seriously, you can create a real problem in real world. Take an example, if you hack a system of email, it's not so pleasant, but if you hack your car, you can go down the cliff. So the consequence of the hack may be extremely different, and this includes, for example, systems like the grid. Now, for that reason, IoT security requires a different approach that is secure by design. This means that the risk as such may be higher, but with IoT, we may have solutions that are better. Now, it's not because it's secure by design that we should not be monitoring to still see what is possible in terms of attack. And don't forget that what is at stake with the IoT is extremely important. Now, as a company, what we do to secure the cyberspace, we do first advisory services to give the advice and to see what needs to be improved. We are able to provide some technology in order to implement such security, but also have managed security services that are allowing to trace and detect intrusion and take corrective action. And finally, to have solutions that are tailored design in order to really protect the specificity of some companies. Now, I will just give you an example of what we have developed as specific technology that is secure. Let's imagine the classical system where you manage both data that are standard data and sensitive data in an IT system that is in your premise. What we have developed is a system where you migrate all your secure data in a secure enclave that is like a safe that is much harder to break. And one of the beauty of the system that you can have the left part that is enterprise IT ecosystem that can migrate to the cloud, and you may have any cloud for that, while the sensitive data are really encapsulated in a very secure environment. So that's just an example of some development and technologies that we have brought to the market. Now if we come to the IoT domain. So today, security is a number one concern of the people doing IoT, and knowing that the number of IoT installed devices is growing by billions. Now, our approach to that is that we provide an IoT secure platform. We are able to manage the life cycle of devices, knowing that the device needs to enter in the system, has a life within the system, and needs to be decommissioned once it's not anymore used. So basically to be able to control the life of such device is something that is making the overall approach much more secure. And finally, we have some labs and some certification capability to check how secure is an existing solution that come from the silicon up to the complete solution. Now, the area of innovation we are working on currently, first, we continue to work on the advanced cyber fusion sensor to be able to track down, to detect all types of new attacks. We have advanced cyber fusion sensor specifically to secure the cloud, and we have the advanced cyber fusion sensor to secure solution in the IoT domain. Having said that, in Switzerland, we are securing a number of the great, actors in Switzerland in a way to prevent them to be shut down in the cyberspace by some hackers. We have naturally the secure IoT platform. We have a concept that is called secure blueprint. Is a strategic approach to see how sensitive is an organization against cyber attacks. We have the secure managed enclave, as I have just shown that before. We are working in the blockchain space in order to be able to assess or to design specific solution in the secure blockchain. And finally, to bring together blockchain and the IoT, knowing that blockchain has some constraints that are quite intensive in terms of computation power, while IoT speed and consumption are extremely important. To bring elements at the interface of the two is one of the most interesting areas in terms of innovation. Now a few words about Innosuisse, our Swiss innovation agency. First element to give us information, so Switzerland is not too bad in terms of global competitiveness. So behind US, it has not been always like that, but basically we recognize that US is really competitive. Having said that, in terms of innovation, we are number one, and that is something pretty important. That is not by chance. Basically, Switzerland is geographically a small country, but a superpower in terms of university and research. So we have number of universities in the top 100 league, and one of the reasons for that is that we have a quite diverse base of students and professors. So 25% average number of foreign students, 50% of foreign professors in university, 20% of foreign professors in technical university, 67% of foreign PhD students and scientific collaborators. All that to say that Switzerland has a very open economy and very open academia, and that is happening. Now, even for a geographically small country, quite an important budget in terms of research and development at the country level. In 2015, 27.5 billion Swiss francs, so about the same in US dollars, with about 70% coming from the private sector and 22% coming from the public sector, and Innosuisse is one of the actors here. And if I'm looking going forward, Innosuisse is the Swiss Innovation Agency, and we are working in the program 2021 to 2024 in terms of priority for education, research, and innovation. Digitalization is an important element, big data, artificial intelligence, blockchain, and cybersecurity. So just to say that to stay in a top league, you need to invest going forward, and to invest in education, research, and innovation are very important elements to make it happen. And last point, Switzerland, even as a geographically small country, is present in many places, including in the US. Here it's a picture from a CES show with the Swiss Tech Pavilion. So you see, and that is very iconic elements. Duckly ski, pretty well known in Switzerland, but you see that in terms of diversity, we have also people that look a little bit more like an Apache than a typical Swiss. So thank you for your attention, and looking forward to have